Alright, well, welcome back to the Eagle Shenanigans World Headquarters and Training Center for part 2 of our knife making series. If you missed part 1, you probably should go watch it. But here's what we're going to make. So here's our example knife. Ooh, fancy. So the idea is got a little finger hole, and then the handle fits kind of in the palm of your hand. So after our first episode, we ended up about here. So this is James' knife, and then here's mine. So we're gonna tune these up a little bit and then punch a hole in them today. And maybe we'll get to the quench. I don't know. Oh yeah, we'll see. See how much time we got. So, all right, put this over here to the side, and we'll get started. So I got the forge heated up before you guys got here, so hopefully it won't take us all. So a few days ago, James kind of got caught up a little bit on his. So you're actually ahead of where I am now.
Yeah,
So
I was way behind compared to where Josh was. It's a lot about control of the hammer and getting used to hand placement on the hammer itself and learning how to actually do this without,
without killing yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right.
I want to show a proper hand placement too.
Made a huge freaking mess in here the other day. There's oil right there. So
I noticed that too.
Yeah, don't slip. We finished up this out here yesterday. So it's looking pretty sharp. Like the little vine work on there. I don't know, I may try to go with the finish kind of like that on this knife. Kind of neat. It's really entertaining watching us stand around waiting for the forge to get hot.
It's like what you paint dry.
Yep. So anyway, we'll be using these guys to punch our holes. So these are both, I made actually both of these. So there's our punch, we're going to use that. We'll knock our initial hole through. One of the key elements to punching a good hole is you want really sharp, clean, crisp edges on your punch. That way it actually you'll get a little biscuit knocked out. So then we'll drift that down through it, and then we'll open it back up with this, drift this through that hole, kind of widen it up.
So you have it flat versus like you would think. I would think a punch you want like a point on it.
This will make a much cleaner hole. I'll show you when we do it, but you'll drive it down really far on one side, and it'll kind of dome the other side. We'll flip it over, and it should be 1 or 2 hits, and we'll knock it back out. You can have a real crisp little hole through it.
So the flat, being flat on the top
It's kind of cutting it.
Okay,
it's kind of
I
shearing
see.
it as it stamps down. And then this one, that wouldn't matter too much because that's going to be smaller than that opening. It's
Right.
going to be by the time we're finished. You can make the slit drift a little pointier. I think at one point this was kind of pointy. I've used it a time or two. But we'll do all that over the hardy hole, punch it through.
And is that just made of like just regular tools?
Yeah, I think it's probably W1 or W2 series steel drill rod, which is what I made a bunch of knives out of. It's what that's made out of actually.
Right.
So it's the same stuff. One thing I'll say though is do not let it go too cold when we're trying to punch a hole, because you're putting a bunch of stress on it anyway. And if you punch it too cold, you will get stress cracks right there around that hole once we punch it. So we're going to try to avoid that. If it takes 5-6 tries to punch a hole in it, that's what it does. Don't worry about it. And when you do it, I'll probably hold it for you. I'll take your tongs and hold it, and then you can just work the punch. And you're going to want a glove on your offhand because you'll be vital for yourself right now.
Okay.
Right, let's see where I'm at here. everything off. All right, I'm gonna straighten mine out a little bit. I was looking at it, noticed I've got a pretty good bow in it. All right, that's looking pretty good. That. See if I can get yours out of here. Okay. You want to start tuning yours up a little?
Sure. I'm gonna straighten up with that.
All right. Yeah, you did a pretty good job, man. Yours is nice and flat.
Hand placement okay on this? I said my hand placement okay. It's been a while.
That's wherever's comfortable. You may want to go up a little. It's whatever.
So just kind of focus here and then
Yeah, I would turn and pinch it against that.
so more like right here.
Yeah, scoot it out towards that edge.
Okay.
There you go.
You tips on keeping it steady.
Let's see. Scoot that in.
Okay.
Now try it. You might want to switch. Here, pin it. Just take this, keep it flat. You're gonna have to grip it fairly tight.
Okay.
Scoot it up one.
Okay.
You're already too cold.
Too cold, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me at least make sure. There you go. You're pretty straight.
So I'm pretty much going to be doing the same thing. Found my little hooky thing. There you go. being perfectly flat right now because we're about to punch a hole in it, and it will not be by the time we're done with that.
Forgot how hot that the scale gets.
Yeah, it's still warm. All right. Well, Roscoe's our special guest camera operator today. Thanks for getting out early on Labor Day. Labor Day's where you're supposed to work, right?
Not me. I should be dove hunting.
You should be dove hunting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we can screw that up for you, man. All right, I'm gonna tune up my tip here just a little bit. Like where it was headed. Straighten back out just a little. Okay. All right, I think I'm about ready to punch a hole in this one. Tell you what, I'm going to work on the handle just a little bit. So I've kind of got an off center, just a hair on this side. So I'm going to dress up that handle just a little bit and then we'll punch a hole. You're pretty close. I think you're about ready. So we'll just let it get nice and hot. Finish up my handle real fast and then I'll walk through it with you. Okay. Show you how to do it and then I'll walk you through doing it. It's pretty fun, man.
So were you guys surprised like how little time you have from when you heat it to then when you can work on it?
Yeah, at first, when I first started doing it, it seemed like you only got to hit it 2 or 3 times. And we talked a little bit about it. It's because this is such a large piece of metal that's basically cold, and that's a small piece, so those two temperatures try to average out, so that anvil sucks all that heat out of there super fast. The thinner you get on your material, the faster it'll lose that heat, but it'll heat back up really fast too. So it kind of works out. If you watch videos of guys making hammers, like big old huge chunks or whatever, it seems like that thing stays hot forever. You know, by comparison.
Unless they're using a power hammer too, and
A lot of them,
inertia
yeah.
keeps the heat.
A lot of them are. Their dies on these power hammers are a lot smaller than this.
That's true too.
So it's not sucking that heat out either. Typically, I mean, some of them are bigger. Yeah, I need a little bit. No sense beating on cold metal.
That's true.
So you guys should have like lined up trivia from people that should write in.
Yeah,
So send those questions in the comments below.
that's right. How many times did James burn himself on episode 1?
How many times did Roscoe get burned while filming? 0 so far.
Yeah, 0 so
So
far.
far.
But it's awfully early in the day. All right. So get on, like last time, James, kind of using that line
Right.
from that break point there to
To measure
kind of
thickness.
show like where the thickness is. That's Those were hot. They've stuck to that perfect. There's an impression in this old carpet of just about every single thing that we've made in this forge. Just been dropped in there and burnt.
I still see the machete we made over.
Yeah, the
in this
machete's
kit.
right there.
Yep.
There's the mini kukri.
There's the other mini kukri that you started.
Yep. There's the straight razor. There's all kinds of stuff burned in here.
It's kind of fun playing a guessing game of what has
Yeah.
Josh made.
It's like the history of evil shenanigans burned into a carpet.
If you ever have to replace the floor, just wall mount that. It's like,
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to put just a little bit of a curve down on that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Let's get it back up to heat and then we're gonna punch a hole. Okay, so like I said, keep it hot. Once it starts dropping out of that, down into that kind of dull red, you're too cold. Just stop, put it back in. You might be able to go punch it all the way through in one heat, but don't force it. It's
Right.
not,
I mean, this is the first time I'm trying.
It's not a big
so,
deal.
Yeah.
yeah, like everything else, it just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice. Really get an actual good glove on. If I'd have been smart, I'd have made that punch about that long, so you would have to be right over the line.
Live and learn.
Yeah. So if you happen to be taking a certain blacksmithing class at a certain college, make your punch longer when we make punches.
maybe the instructor can do that day one. And
Yeah, you think the instructor would tell you something. In case he forgets. All right. We're just gonna lay it up here flat. We're gonna go about there, about 3/8 or so up from the edge. Just pull your punch out every time so you're not overheating it. You'll kind of retain some of your temper. When you're laying it, the whole thing flat up against there, it's going to lose that heat really fast.
yeah, there was a visible color change very quickly on
Yeah.
this.
It's pretty neat to watch, honestly. All right, so I'm going to hold yours.
Okay. Got the punch here.
Yep.
So about right.
Okay, so you want to go about right there.
Right here.
Yep, you want to leave plenty of space down at the bottom. Straight down. Pull the punch out. Reposition it back in that same hole. Okay, straight down.
Likes to move.
All right.
Yeah, I'm also on fire.
That's okay. Just a little bit of fire. Did you just ruin my gloves, man? David James.
I'll go to Harbor Freight Video.
What the viewers at home can't tell is that smells like a different smell.
Yeah, I got the line. You can,
Yeah.
you can
Alright.
tell.
Alright.
I'm left-handed. I don't use this.
I was gonna say, is the left-handed played into that?
So this works out nicely though, working together because I only need to buy one pair of gloves.
There you go.
Efficiency.
Totally planned that. Roscoe was going to come join Evil Shenanigans, but he's right-handed. I didn't want to buy 2 pairs of gloves.
Luckily, you have a mute on your hands.
And your superpower
My
is.
superpower is being left-handed.
Okay. So you can kind of see the divots going down in there pretty deep. And if you flip it over, you see the little spike on that side. So we're going to heat it back up, and then we're going to set the punch right on top of that little crust, and it should knock out in just a couple of hits.
You can do that over the whole.
Yeah, we'll probably start it right here on the flat part, and then once it comes out, we'll put it over the hole. Okay.
Let me get it at a different angle.
Yeah, see where you can, and there where you can see.
I think it's start over there.
Yep. There you go. Alright, you're too cold. Alright, we're almost there.
Yeah, you can start seeing the little puck on the other side.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, we're right
Getting
about
close.
there-ish.
Yep. We get that defined a little bit more on yours. Probably another heat.
How's that way?
Another heat doing that, you'll have it about where you want to be.
Yeah.
Now, it may not come out clean the first time. It doesn't.
A lot of that we can always fix on the grind anyways.
Yeah. Alright, so part of the reason you're pulling that out after every hit is so you're not superheating the end of this, because it is hardened and then tempered. You're going to lose a bunch of that the first few times you punch holes and drift holes because you're putting it through super hot steel.
Right.
But that'll minimize that to some extent. Plus, you want to reposition it and get it back in the same spot. You
So it
don't want to
doesn't
just
get
stick it
stuck.
in there and hope for the best.
Right. Because you don't want it to forge weld together.
It won't be. It's not hard enough to do that.
Now, also, do you have to reheat treat and temper the tools?
The
after so long?
tools you can. You said it's not that super critical on something like that because you're gonna pretty much take it out the first time you go to punching something. Because eventually you're gonna get it hot enough that you're gonna blow that temper out. So it's not that big a deal. You can make punches out of mild steel. I've done it kind of in a bind where I just needed something that's a very specific size. They just won't hold up as well. The tool steel will at least hold up a little bit better, so hammering on it and all that stuff. Yes, when we make these, we'll harden them, quench them, do all that stuff, temper them back down. But you're likely going to lose that over time. Okay. It's not that big a deal. If it gets too soft, you can just go ahead and reheat treat it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, because I'm going to be starting this blacksmithing course at a certain university.
Yeah.
Taught by a certain instructor tomorrow.
Yeah. It should be pretty good.
I'm hoping so. I mean,
He's
I
kind
don't
of a.
know about the instructor.
It's kind of an evil genius, I think, is what some people have called him.
I think you got the first part right.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give it one more shot on the front side and then flip it. Put it out. All right, it came out. I don't know where it went. So there we go. We got our hole. That one kind of hung up in there a little. They usually come out a little easier. Cool. That's pretty clean though. Let's see if we can find the little biscuit. It's over here somewhere. Stick your finger down there and look for that hot melt, dumbass. Oh, there it is. It's melted into the carpet.
Genius.
There it is. There's the little biscuit. Looks like a little hole punch. That one's got carpet melted on it. We'll save him for later. All right. Let's heat it back up.
Yeah.
James lighting himself on fire.
Again.
It's popping a lot of force scale off.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've caught myself on fire here. It's kind of that tradition, really.
It does happen. It's been set a little bit on fire. It's not a good
Just shave your arms, it'll be fine.
Oh, it got my face too, but it's only going to help the aesthetic.
Everyone needs a good scar.
That's right.
So I got these scars.
Hey, when my parents said they wouldn't take me till they get stitches, my dad said chicks dig scars, so.
Okay, so now we're going to put it over the hardy hole. that open.
Now, do you drift from one side or do you
You want to go from both.
Okay.
So that's what I was about to say. This is going to be a lot of going back and forth and kind of straightening it out as you go. So you don't want to. It'll be really hard for you to try to punch, drift that hole through a banana shape knife. And it's going to lose the heat real fast. Stretching open that hole, you're going to put a lot of strain and stress on that metal right there. So you do not want to be cold.
Right.
Because you will crack right there in the hole.
And I can see how it's coming out with the shape. It looks really cool.
It's kind of neat.
Having that
It
bow come out.
kicks a big flare.
It's kind of cool looking.
I'll see where you are.
Now, would you call this a Ric Flair?
Yeah. Here's one push. There. Now after this change spot. Alright, give it a shot. Real good one right there. Alright. Put it kind of right in the center of that dome.
There.
Yep.
There.
Hit it hard, dude. Give it another little shot. We just want to Okay, get close.
Talk about the stress that went under. Yeah.
It's like, it looks like it's being sucked in.
I'm sorry?
The distress level that you see on the blade when you were doing that.
It would probably help if I had like a swage block where the hole was about the same size as that punch. I don't have one, so we could.
So that's what
Okay. Alright. Good solid hit. On the punch on your thumb. Alright. Now get it there. Keep going. Leave it in, keep going. Alright, let's see. Take it that side.
ripped it off.
Yeah.
Just hammer it flat.
My level's legitimately on fire.
Oh, you're fine.
Imagine with those gloves, it does make it tough to see. Like, well, if you like aiming that,
The hammer, exactly.
yeah.
Then you start seeing smoke. I'm not complaining. I mean, I could be at home
Sounds like
sleeping.
complaining to me.
I mean, I could be home sleeping right now, but I'm actually having fun.
Well, good. All right. Almost there. That right there. That's where it's going to go anyway. All right, here's a good shot right there. Just one or two. All right. Hang on. I'm not in there. Take it back in that hole. There we go. All right, so we got our first initial hole punched. Then we'll get the bigger one and start widening that out. Pretty cool. All right. There you go. Yeah.
Have that hammer back out flat.
Flatten it out. Don't be afraid to hurt his feelings. Okay. So we're a little
It's a little off.
off there.
So once it
Just kind of drifted over some. It's all right. We'll drive this one through that so we get everything back up to temperature. And most likely when you're done, you'll just have to take a Dremel and kind of just roll around. It should be about the right size.
Is that the next row up?
Yep, go to the next size on mine. So it's basically it's the same thing. You start off. Work it in a little bit at a time. Right. In the water.
Oh,
Alright, just place it in there, give it a couple of good whacks. Right, now get it out. You tap it. And flip, give it a couple of whacks on that side. Alright. Just gonna go nice and slow. I need more heat on mine. Start losing pressure on the propane, the back burner starts like cutting out and makes that weird noise. We're probably about to run out on that tank. That's cool because I got another one.
Someone was prepared.
For once. I bought 2 tanks so I can hot swap them. When one goes out, or what that turned into is I run out of propane and then go, I gotta go buy 2 tanks now. I always forget. You're like, oh, I'll do that later.
Do a split valve? Or no?
Now just swap them. Alright. My next seat, I'm going to drop that in a little bit and then straighten that spine out. It's getting low in it.
how do you straighten the spine out without messing
I
up?
think that drift in it.
Yep. Let's go.
Right.
Take it out. It's getting hot on my feet. That's fine.
Ah, you're too cold. Way to waste a bunch of time, James. volunteered on filming when there's crazy hot things flying around, eh?
Yeah. It's not any worse than when I do woodworking, so. Just there's not hot.
Just not hot. Everything's sharp in there. Alright, you ought to be able to go all the way through that one. There you go.
Boom.
Alright, give it a go on that side. There you go. Nice.
Just gotta straighten it out.
Looking good, man.
Nice.
Okay, I am going to scoot that one in a little more. Because I need to adjust the whole shape. It's got a dip right there.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So you're just gonna have to kind of get around it.
Yeah, I'm just going to put the drift in there and then try to reshape it a little bit. Hope for the best. At least we didn't pick like a muggy day or anything.
All right.
Could have done Wednesday when it rains. Now, what was it you were trying to fix in that initially?
There was a dip right there at the top. There still is a little bit of one. Well, you can see along the spine, instead of being a straight line, it kind of dips in right there.
Okay.
Yeah, just trying to get that a little more evened out. It comes from driving that hole on the opposite side of it. That steel has to go somewhere, so it kind of pulls it down. Just like when you forge bevels, it'll curve away from that bevel when you forge it in. So that steel's got to move somewhere.
Now you guys have the holes punched. It's really easy to get them in and out.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, time for Big Jim there. All right, stop. Take it out. Come out. Now hammer that back flat. Flat-ish is good. Start on that side. Just give it 2 or get it in there a little bit, then we'll deal with that. It's looking good though, man.
Right now it's just getting it to the appropriate size.
Yeah. There'll be a little bit of, finished work. See that kind of bend a little.
Yeah, I see that. See it's losing its temper.
Yeah.
Turning the blue.
Yep. It's not too bad. Just take care of that right now. That was hot.
Same thing.
Yep. Just go a couple on this side. Flip. Here, give him another hit. Alright. Let's go ahead and adjust that. Just start tapping down right on top. Get that bow out. Alright, now straighten that out. Hang on, go ahead. Got it? Alright. Alright, so what we just did is we heated the punch back up to critical and then quenched it. So now it's rehardened. So now we're just going to temper it real fast so it'll be usable because it's super brittle right now. If you were to hit it, it'll probably shatter the tip off of it. So I polished it up on that grinder so you can see the color change. And we're just looking for kind of a straw color
If we get the blue, it's
out
too
here on the
much.
tip. Now if you get the blue on the punch, it's not a big deal because you're going to get the blue pretty soon anyway.
Right.
First time or two you use it, but
Because doing this is faster than just putting it in the oven.
yeah. So when we're tempering knives, we'll probably use the oven most of the time. It's a little more controlled.
But if you're working with bigger stock, would you want to like say George temper? If you have to, you can't do it
Could.
big enough.
I've done it one time on a knife, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to control. All right, so get in here and look. So this end is heated up like to critical temperature. You see that blue and that purple, and then it's fading into that gold color. Down here on this end, it's still the silver from where we polished it, but that gold color is about the temper range that we want. That's around 400 degrees or so, give or take a little. So that'll make it usable steel. So where it's silver right now, it's still super, super hard. It's a little easier to watch it do this because it's on a thicker piece of steel, so it takes longer. On your knife, it's going to be super thin, and you'll be not there, not there, not there. Oh shit, I went too far. This is, you got a little bit more time. You can sit there and watch the color change. It's kind of neat. I didn't anticipate we would be doing tempering today, but you know, here we go. All right, so that gold is right there at the tip and it's starting to shift. So now we just requench it.
With this, you don't really worry about grain structure like you would a blade. Because this is a big one on there.
This is a hard use tool. Probably the first time you drift it through, you know, punch a hole and drift it through something, you just blown all that to shit anyway, which is why I'm bending a little bit today. It's not a big deal though. If it bends, then you just do that.
Yeah.
Straighten it out and reharden it. Alright, let's see here. I remember what we were doing.
Straightening out the spine.
Alright, so get that in there a little bit.
How will we fix that?
It's not a big deal. There's nothing on here that can't be solved with the grinder.
Okay, I was making sure it wasn't going to affect the total overall structure of the thing.
It'll be all right. Okay. like the way it's shaped.
It almost had like a Tonto edge type look.
Yeah, that's not gonna go that way.
I
Until
figured.
I'm done with it.
I figured you're gonna grind that out.
I wanted to leave the tip a little thick. For doing all this stuff. Because we're basically going in and out of the fire, in and out of the fire, and all that forward scale, you'll kind of lose your tip. Let's see where we're at here. I'm trying to look down, looking for straightness. There's a couple little high spots, like right here. You can kind of see it right there. It sticks out a little bit. We'll tune that up a little. Still having fun?
Yes.
You having fun, Roscoe?
Yeah.
Alright. So when are you gonna come make a knife for
When I graduate.
me? Alright.
Now this is actually the first time I've actually done it all by myself. Or most by myself.
There you
Just
go.
to
All the way
through.
through. All the way. Go, go, go. Go back. Like a bunny. There you go. Perfect. There's James's. That's looking good.
There we go.
So we got a little bit of curve,
Right.
but it kind of looks dope.
It kind of does. I'm digging that curve.
You can leave it if you want to.
Let's straighten
Just
it.
curve this handle down.
Yeah, but I said curve the handle down. I think it'd be great.
That'd be kind of cool. A little offset.
Yeah, I like that.
It's up to you, man. It's
I
yours.
say curve it. I say curve the handle.
We'll curve the handle down. All right. So we'll heat it back up. We'll put the drift in there so we don't lose our whole shape. And then we'll basically do what I was just doing. Kind of tune up that shape a little. There we go. That's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah, this is actually the first time I've completed on basically on my own. We did the machete together, but you know, we took turns with the work.
Yeah.
This one's really my first.
This is a lot more complicated than machete. The machete was just big.
Yeah, that's true. That was what, 3/8 inch stock?
That started as a 7/8 inch piece of circle.
So nearly a full inch of metal.
It was that. That's actually what I have left from doing that machete.
Yeah. That was.
And we, I think, used probably a foot. And we ended up with
19.5
a
inches.
19.5 inch overall length. The blade itself was a foot.
Yeah. No,
That tends to be about how it works out when I use that.
14 inches.
Is whatever length you want the blade is the length that total stock is you start with. And by the time you get it down to thickness, that's about the length of your blade and about the right amount for the handle.
It's about 13 or 14 inch blade.
Yeah.
I do remember it's huge.
It's bigger than the kukri that I just made, the full size one, by a half inch.
Yeah. I had that thing sitting in my gun safe. Just,
That was a lot of fun.
it was a lot of fun. Especially when we got to test it out.
My favorite part was not having to be the only one swinging the hammer the whole time.
Yeah, that's my least favorite. Just kidding. Alright, let's see. Now that I thought about it, I could have brought the stuff I ordered. And we could have given a little preview of our future project.
Oh yeah.
So you're pinching the back to make it stay straight.
Yeah, I know there was some issues right there. And if anything, I wanted to curve the blade downwards. So kind of like hammering in a bevel,
Right.
it'll go away from that. tricky because I've got a taper going. Because my handle is my tang area is much thicker than the blade. So it's got a taper going down both sides. And that, for whatever reason, is always really tricky for me to try to get everything straight. Probably because I'm not very good at this. I should take up golf or something. I actually play golf. I'm not even good at that either.
I'm great at the driving range.
I'm not.
That's
I'm
it.
okay at best.
Just like yours are going to be.
Kind of like this. And everything else. I'm okay at this.
You need like a trip to okay as well.
Alright, so I'm pretty satisfied with where I'm at. So I'm going to leave it out for just a little bit. And we'll get yours where you want it to be.
Will I need to drift some more? Because
Oh yeah, you're going to need that drift. It's a good idea if you're like changing the shape of this knife. See, we're wanting to curve the handle down, aren't we?
Yes.
So let's put it in the right way. It's a pretty good idea if you're going to change the shape of the knife to go ahead and put that drift back in the hole so you don't distort it.
Right.
You'll end up with a triangle or something.
That's why on that last knife, the knife I made at my house, I didn't come over here to kink the handle. I wanted the handle.
Because you already had that hole in it.
Exactly. Which I'll post that one on the little shenanigans whenever I get some glamour shots ready for it.
Yeah. Alright. Just tap it in there. Tap, tap. Cool. Okay.
Okay.
So just drive your handle down.
Just back here?
Just go out towards the tip.
Back.
Yeah. Go on. Come on. Let me trap it a little better. Okay, hang on. Let's see where we are. Right there. No more? Swing and miss.
That's why I don't do golf. I think I'd be good.
Yeah. I think you go too much more. You drop that through. Okay. Now, you want to straighten that out.
Yeah.
Get it all nice and flat. You can do a little bit right now. It's still got some heat in it, but don't hit it real hard. Oh, you're tearing up the carpet.
First person to ever do that.
That's gonna be real hot.
Yeah, it really is.
Where'd you pull the top? Just type it on the flat. So you got control. There you go. Get some more heat in it. We need, okay.
Burn off my carpet.
So we need to get that flattened back out. Okay, it's kind of got a water going. Yeah. So we need to heat.
This whole
That needs to be pretty hot.
So we need to put it in this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on. It's stuck to it.
That's carpet fibers. Molten plastic.
We're grabbing it with the glove.
That's a Evil Shenanigans proprietary rust prevention technique. We do a carpet quench,
A carpet.
sometimes skin.
It's just a protective layer. Keep it from rusting,
Yeah.
corroding.
It's totally not an accident.
Not at
We
all.
burn a hole in the carpet. So we do.
Because we put a little bit of us in every blade.
Usually when I sharpen, I put a lot of meat in there.
You acting like it's hot, Josh.
It is hot. It's freaking hard.
So-
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
A super cool thing.
Miss Shenanigans.
Yeah, Mr. Shenanigans got us. It won't go up quite high enough to read. It's like, yeah.
This is high.
Yeah, it only goes up to not quite 1400. And it's hotter than 1400 in there. So, let's see. Can't see the later.
It was weird that we used that for it to us when we got here too.
Yeah.
It was,
So it's only like 400 degrees right here.
yeah.
Our person who loves to interrupt wants to know if you can come by. I just sent your shirt by there.
So, ask this: what is a project that you didn't think you could do that you've done?
The Wakasashi I made. So that one pretty well pushed everything that I was capable of. And it's still not perfect, but there was a lot of intricate stuff that went in that. Making Makume Gane for the end cap was pretty intense. I didn't make a Suba guard for it, like the larger size, but I still made the whatever the other thing is, like was on top of the blade. Can't remember what it's called.
I just had it. Anyway.
That thing, that was pretty tough. And then making the sheath, the wooden scabbard, and the handle, and then doing the Edo wrap. I had to learn a lot of stuff on that. Really making that full-size kukri. Our good friend Jason Asmus asked me to start that knife like over a year ago, and skill-wise I wasn't there. So just about every knife I made since he had asked for it, I was trying to learn a technique that would be used in that kukri. And it took about a year for me to get comfortable enough to say, okay, I think I'll try to make that full-size one. Really the last thing was making the machete with you.
It kind of helped because it had the same.
It had a
design.
similar shape, it was the same length, and getting all that stuff down, being able to grind that odd shaped blade. That was kind of the last missing piece of that puzzle, and I felt confident enough to do it. You know, and it's not perfect by any means. I mean,
Yeah, nothing's
nothing that I make is gonna be, or anybody else. Maybe some guys it is. You know, there's probably something even those guys are like, God damn, man, I wish I had caught that earlier or done something. But
I don't know. I'm so new in this. I feel like for me, it's anything I'm doing is pushing that skill.
And that very much is the case, you know, right now. Everything I do, you know, making that little mini kukri. I've never done anything like that. I put fullers in one other time, I think.
Yeah.
We tried it a little bit on that machete, and it was not my favorite part of that knife. I'll say that. I'm not gonna say we screwed it up, but it was not my favorite part of that knife.
Right. It just that wasn't as perfect as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, it could have been much more perfect.
It's starting to sound like my first car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. You want that side, hammer that down, kind of even it out. You're going to have to basically flip it and work both sides. Shut up, jeez. Okay. I think your profile is looking good. That section around the holes looks pretty good. Okay. Now, pin it and grab it from this side, and let's see how. Yeah, I'll help us. Okay. Got a slight kick right here. You're in pretty good shape, man. I think yours is a hell of a lot straighter than mine.
I think a lot of it can come out in the grind. Some of the
Oh yeah,
the wiggles.
100%. Okay. We at least want to start with something that's half-half straight. So that, to me right now, that's my hardest challenge, is getting everything nice and flat down the entire length of the blade. Some of it is it's kind of tough to do this on a little bitty 1x30 grinder. 100% totally blaming my equipment.
True craftsman.
You should golf.
For a long time playing golf, I could throw my hybrid 3-iron much further than I can hit the ball with it. All right, I think we're in pretty good shape, man. Where are we at on time?
Hour 20.
Hour 20. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up, and we'll do our thermocycling and our heat treat and all that junk next time. We may do a little bit of grinding off camera because,
It's pretty
frankly, that's boring, and you can't hear anything anyway. So we may touch them up a little bit on the grinder, get our profile set in. Like, we left the tips super thick on purpose. They're not super pointy because you don't really want to do it that way when you're heating it up to quench, because that tip will superheat way earlier than the rest of it. I mean, there's stuff you can do to mitigate that somewhat, but I like to leave them a little thick. It's just less chance for it to cause problems. We're fairly thin on the blade size there, so we'll be using our handy dandy patented straightening jig after we do the quench. It's 2 pieces of angle iron in a vise.
It works.
It works. So that's what we'll look forward to next time. We'll do our thermocycles, we'll heat treat, we'll quench, we'll do all that junk. So we'll get it cleaned up and ready to go. So, well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for filming, Roscoe.
More than happy to.
And we'll see you
Next time.